Coach. He might know you. The room can be sort of dark from a podium perspective. It gets a little hot underneath the white lights. So if you would, please raise your hand and we'll get rolling with our first question for Coach. Taylor, we'll go to the microphone there in the third row. Coach, to your left.
Bob Holliday, WRL.com. Coach, welcome back.
Thank you.
Your fellow Orange High alumnus, Peyton Wilson, grew up watching games at Duke, and maybe you did as well. Looking at your schedule, you actually have 3 trips back to your home state this year. What are your thoughts about the schedule and all that travel back and forth between Louisville and North Carolina?
Yeah, well, it's exciting for me. You know, I grew up right there in Durham. Grew up selling. Playing for Hillendale, which is right beside Duke University, is my rec league team. And I just remember when we were little, we had on Saturday game days, we had to sell 10 programs to get in the game free. And I remember my mom working a concession stand in Wallace Wade for our organization. But I've never played or coached inside of Wallace Wade, so we're getting to go back this year. So that's exciting. They're right there in Durham. We should have a lot of family and friends at that game. And we get to go to Raleigh, and then we get to go to Winston-Salem. So yeah, those 3 trips back to North Carolina. Obviously where I was born and grew up, so it's going to be awesome for me personally, but also for our team. It was exciting. You know, 2 years ago we made a trip to Winston-Salem and Raleigh, and as well, both good games for us. And you know, so yeah, it's not a bad trip at all. We're excited about it.
Coach, we'll keep it in the front row, right in front of you.
Coach Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. Just what you can say about the offense moving forward. I know obviously on your coaching staff there's been some shifting and whatnot. Just what you can say about running the offense and what we can expect this year.
Yeah, you know, we did. We got a new offensive line coach, new running back coach come in, but we're running our same offense. We're going to be doing the same thing. The way we do things is a collaborative effort within our coaching staff, trying to get the ball in the hands of the best players is the bottom line. You know, we sit down as a staff and go over that game plan, and everybody's on a board with everything that we're doing. You know, then I'll be calling the plays on Saturday, but utilizing a lot of help from our coaching staff as we get to that. We'll be a very similar offense as we've been in the past. We're going to run the football and do a lot of play action, and then also, you know, being able to utilize the running ability of Cunningham at the quarterback position, dynamic player. Marshawn Ford, who's here today as well, is a guy who's been as an H-back for us and a tight end type. He'll be a little bit more expanded role now as a little bit of a receiver as well. So we'll be able to utilize him to do that. And you know, we did lose 2 great players last year to the draft with Tutu Atwell and Des Fitzpatrick. You know, and then we also lost a running back to free agency. So there are some new faces that are going to be in the offense this year, but I'm very excited about the guys we are bringing back and the guys that can play. They'll be producing at a high level, and you know, just some of the guys we don't really know. They're not household names yet, but hopefully they will be at the end of the season.
Coach, from the podium here, in your 3rd season as you continue to evaluate your program, are you able to compare 2020 over 2019 given everything that we all experienced last year?
Yeah, it'd be difficult to do that. You know, it'd be like comparing apples and oranges. I mean, it's not the same. You know, anytime you don't have the 3.5 months, 4 months that we didn't have our guys around, you know, and then are we playing, are we not playing? I mean, we're just trying to, you know, get through the season once we decided to play. And you know, we had a productive year as far as the yardage goes, offense, defense, the things that we're able to do. You know, the one stat was the turnover margin, which is not where it needed to be, and we lost several close games. So it's kind of hard to compare. I mean, both seasons, games came down to the wire. In 2019, we were able to win some of those games and, you know, to go on and win 8 and go to a bowl game. Last year, we did not win some of those close games. So I think that's probably the biggest difference. And what do you point to? There's a couple of factors, but obviously turnover margin is one of those factors. And, you know, but now, you know, this year, a lot of positives going into this year. Defense is continuing to get better. Offensively, the guys have a great grasp of what we're doing on offense, and you know, we have a lot of talented players that are going to be able to play. And then the offensive line, I think, is the most depth we've ever had since we've been there. At least 8 guys that can go in and play at a high level. So I'm excited about, you know, what we're able to come this year and what we'll be able to play with in this league.
Go back to Bob Holliday to your left there in the 3rd row.
Combination question for you, Scott. You did lose a lot of speed. As you mentioned, Tutu Atwell, Javian Hawkins was very fast, and Des. Can Tyler Harrell help fill the speed quotient? Do you see some other great speed on the team? And then part two of the question, you were 5th in total offense, but only 9th in scoring offense. How do you get more points for your offensive production?
Yeah, I think one of the differences was last year was the big plays we didn't have offensively. We had, we were driving the ball and had some yards, but not those big plays. I mean, even 2-2 last year didn't have as many big plays down the field for whatever reason. And, so we got to be able to get more of the big plays, the plays where you're going the distance and not just a 40-yard play, but the ones that go all the way to the end zone. We got to be able to do that. Tyler Harrell is a fast player. He's the fastest player I've ever timed in my career, and I've had a lot of fast ones over that time. And and he's 195 pounds. He's not like he's tiny. So I think he'll be one of the guys that'll be able to, to be able to knock the top off the defense, to hit some of those home run plays, some of those big plays. Hassan Hall's a guy who didn't have as good a year last year as he did 2 years ago. He's back to his form. I think he's another big play guy. He can really run. He was number 3 in the country in kickoff returns in 2019. He'll be a guy this year that'll be that kind of player, I think, as well. Outside, you also have Watkins, who's a really good, talented player as a freshman last year from Louisville that I think will end up being a great player for us as well. Shy Wirtz, the transfer that we got from Georgia Southern, played quarterback. Now is going to be playing a receiver for us, who's another guy that can really run. Excited about what he's going to be able to do as well. So, and then Cooley's a guy we just signed from the Raleigh area, running back, that I think he is extremely fast. He'll be a talented guy out of the backfield as well, to be that home run threat type guy, even though he will be a true freshman.
Your next question will come just over Bob's shoulder there, still on your left.
It's Scott Cameron with the Courier-Journal. Year 3 for you now, specifically talking about the defense. You've made a jump every year. What do you expect out of this group this season? And are you feel like you're as close to what you've wanted depth-wise defensively as since you got here?
Yeah, we're gaining on the depth part of that. I think at some of those positions we have some great depth. At others, we're still trying to build it. I think the two things that we want to be able to do defensively this year better than what we did last year, although we have come a long way in the last 2 years defensively. Number one is create more pressure on the quarterback. We have not been able to create enough pressure and create enough sacks. I think that will help our defense, and I think when we do that, that's going to help our number 2 thing, which is create more turnovers. Those two things, I think, will be a next step for our defense to be able to come, one of the top defenses in the country. I think we are headed in that direction with our defensive line that we have. We signed 5 D linemen last year, and sometimes you hit on them, sometimes you don't. We hit on these 5. These guys can play. These freshmen that we brought in, and some will play right now for us. Yaya Diaby is another guy who I think is going to have a year where he'll be known in the ACC. He's going to be one of those type players as a defensive end position for us. So I'm excited about where the defense is headed and what we'll be able to do this year.
Back to Dan in the front row.
You had brought up Malik Cunningham a little bit earlier, just a few minutes ago. Where have you seen the most improvement from Malik, and what quarterback are we getting this season?
Yeah. Well, Malik over the past 2 years has been a very productive quarterback. 55 touchdowns responsible for in 2 seasons, and 2 years ago was one of the highest QBRs in Louisville history. He's an extremely accurate passer. When he gets a clean pocket, he's hard to beat. And the thing that he's got to get better at, obviously, is taking care of the football. And not all the turnovers were his fault last year. There were some other circumstances with that. But the thing that he's been able to do this past off season, get in the film room, study the film a lot more, understand where his strengths are and how to expand on that, and take those negatives that he had and try to get rid of those things. The thing about it, and I've told a couple guys today, that anytime you got a quarterback that's able to extend plays like he is, there's a fine line there when you got to say, okay, the defense has this one, let me throw the ball away, as opposed to I can always make the play, and there's a fine line there. And that comes through experience, and he's got to understand when he can't make those type plays. But he's capable of being one of the best quarterbacks in the country this year. I believe that. I believe he's got a lot of guys around him that'll make that happen. And with the depth we have up front, we'll be better protected this year and should open up more running lanes for us, which in return will help the passing game. But he can have an outstanding season for us. And I think, obviously, when he plays well, then so the Cardinals will play well as a team, and we'll be able to win some games with that.
Coach, from the podium, as you continue to grow and evolve as a coach, do you find that your perspective on recruiting changes? Are you recruiting differently now than you may have in other stops? Is there a personality that you can assign to the way that you recruit?
Well, we're certainly haven't changed the type of player we want to recruit. I think it starts with that. Obviously, you want outstanding football players. You want some of the best players in the country, but you also want to get the high character player. You want to get the smart player, the guys that are going to do things right off the field, because we know that translates on the field. If you're that high character person and you're showing up on time for class and you're showing up on time for your job or whatever there is to do, that translates on the football field. Whereas a coach only has to tell you one or two times, hit what we need you to do, and those guys are able to do it. And I've also seen the players that don't do things right off the field, and then you have to tell them over and over and over on the field. So for us, we're trying to recruit the high character player, the player that cares about the people that are around him, because we know when we get in the locker room that's the kind of players that you want to play for and that you want to coach, and we want to be around as coaches. So much of it is not just the football piece; it's the person that they are. And I think when that happens, you have that kind of character. You go through adversity like we all go through, then you're going to be able to fight through it, and you're going to come out on the other side as a winner. So and that's what we're looking for.
Your last question here from the podium. How do you approach preseason rankings, whether it's as a team or individual accolades that may come before the first ball is snapped?
We really don't talk about it much. Whether you're picked to win it all or you're picked to finish last in your division, preseason, it really doesn't matter. You got to just do the best you can and stay in the moment day to day. I find that preseason polls are often of what you did the previous year. I've been a part of teams where we picked number one. I've been a part of teams where we picked last our first year here at Louisville. We won 8 games and won a big bowl game. So it's how you approach each and every week and every day. And that's what we focus on. We stay in the moment, and we try to do the best we can with that.
Coach, thank you. We'll switch places with CJ. CJ Avery, you've got a few minutes here at the podium. Folks, same scenario. If you would, please identify yourselves and the outlet that you are with. And as CJ gets settled, we will ask if there is a question coming from the room to get us started. CJ, seeing none, I'll ask it from the podium. Describe the decision-making process when evaluating whether or not to return.
Well, it was just between me and my family. I decided that it was a better chance for me to come back and better my future and then just end my career here at University of Louisville on the right note.
Thank you. We'll go to your left in the 4th row.
It's CJ Cameron with the Courier-Journal. Since Scott Satterfield took over this program, how have you seen this defense change, and what does this defense look like compared to what you've seen in the last few years?
I just think this defense, trust each other, better, well-rounded defense at each position. We have new guys at the safety position, but I think they'll come in and they'll step up big in their roles. Cornerback position, we look great, and then the front 7, we just continue to get better each year. So this defense just turned it around completely.
CJ, keep your eye in that same area, the gentleman in the 3rd row.
Bob Halliday, WRL.com. Only 2 ACC teams that are playing this year were better defensively than you were in terms of scoring defense. What makes this Louisville defense so hard to score against?
I think it's just the passing game. Our corners and our safeties, linebackers as well, we do a great job of, coverage and tighten up the coverage. And then now all we got to do is just, bring pressure with that, and then we'll create more turnovers, and that'll make us one of the top defenses for, ongoing years.
Slide to the front row right in front of you there, CJ.
CJ Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. An overall look at Louisville going into 2021, where has this team improved the most coming out of the spring, and how would you define what this team will be as you step forward here?
I think within our program, we've improved the most with leadership. We have a lot more guys that are willing to be leaders and step up and just make sure the team, comes together and plays as one. That's the key thing. If you don't have any leaders on your team, then it's kind of hard to be a great team. So that's where we've improved the most.
CJ, from the podium here, it is rare these days to find a 5-year starter on a team. What is it that you want to accomplish this year?
I want to accomplish an ACC championship with my brothers. As simple as that. We're working hard, and we're just trying to get to that ACC championship and turn this Louisville program around.
Taking a look at your progress through the system, you're in your master's program. Why is it important for you to have a master's degree?
I just think it's extremely important to open up doors for yourself. I worked my tail off my whole life, and I tried to get everything I can out of the University of Louisville, and I'm proud to say that I'm working towards that master's degree to get me into doors that I never imagined that I could get into.
CJ, thank you. How about we switch spots now with Malik? Malik Cunningham will spend a few minutes with us. Malik, we will start down here in the front row, just in front of you.
Malik, Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. You heard Coach say where he feels your improvement has come. From looking back at the film and kind of looking over these last couple seasons, what have you seen in your game, and where are the improvements coming for 2021?
Definitely the improvement is going to be in turnover margin. Try to keep those things down. Turnover is not something you can work on, but I spent a lot of time in the film room and building the confidence in my receivers and those guys to make plays for me this year, so that's what we're going to do.
We're going to go third row to your left, Malik.
Bob Halliday, WRL.com. Malik, almost every school in the league this year has a returning quarterback. I've never seen anything like it. It's like 13 out of 14. Think back to when you were a young quarterback. What are the advantages of being an experienced guy as opposed to when you're just trying to get used to college football, trying to learn the system, et cetera, et cetera?
When you're an experienced quarterback, you've seen a lot of ball. You've been around a lot of coaches, and I've been around 2 coaching staffs. I've learned a lot from both coaching staffs, and added to my game. It's just the confidence you build when you're such an older guy, and having those young guys look up to you is always a plus in that type of thing.
Malik, from the podium, last year you had 600 more yards in the air compared to 2019, but you did have 7 more interceptions last year compared to 2019. What have you done in the offseason to try to get one number to go the right way and the other number to go the other way?
Turnover is not something that you can work on, but like I said, I've been spending a lot of time in the film room just learning from my mistakes and trying to capitalize on those things and turn those things around.
If you watch your film from last year, and you know as well as anybody, you had a couple of really long strikes. You've had a lot of long strikes in your career. Would you rather air it out, or do you like the shorter passes better?
I would definitely love to air it out.
Was hoping to see that smile. That's why I asked the question. Another question for you on the left side about the fourth row.
Malik Cunningham with the Courier-Journal. What's the biggest difference for you this year to when look back to 2019 when you were a guy fighting for the QB spot and kind of got put in there when Juwan went down? What's the biggest difference for you from then to now?
Difference now until then, like I know I have a role in this team. I had a role then, but the role is much bigger now. Being the leader of the offense, the leader of the team, and those guys look up to me, and I know I got to come through for those guys when we need it most, not just be there when everything is all highs and goods. Got to be there for the lows. They got to have somebody to look up to, and I'm that guy.
Malik, your last question here from the podium. What's it like practicing against CJ?
Oh, man. CJ is a very experienced guy. Man, CJ actually came in together, and just good seeing him on the other side of the ball, looking you dead in the eye, knowing that he might know what you're about to do. But it's good to go in against him. He brings a lot out of me, and I know I bring a lot out of him as well.
Malik, thank you very much. We'll switch spots. Marshawn Ford from the tight end position will be our last representing the Cardinals here this afternoon. First question will come from our front row, just in front of you there, Marshon.
Marshon, your unique story at Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com, but your unique story of being a walk-on and elevating to where you are right now, representing your team here at ACC Kickoff, just what you could say about your specific road to get here and what you would say to walk-ons in general, that there is that open opportunity and dreams can be realized.
You're always counted out as a walk-on. You always got to take advantage of your opportunities, like each and every way. And for me, I was blessed to be able to get an opportunity from Coach Sat, and I tried to take advantage of it, and I did. And he rewarded me with a scholarship, and ever since then, I've been humble and grateful that I was able to get that scholarship.
Marshawn, we will go to the left, the third row there.
Bob Halliday, WRL.com. Marshawn, You guys opened the season on national television against Ole Miss in the kickoff in Atlanta. How exciting is that? Talk about the opportunity to put Cardinal football on the map in the first week.
It's a great opportunity, you know. This is actually it's my second time playing in Atlanta, but my first time playing in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. So, you know, I'm very, very happy that we get to do that and we get to showcase, you know, the work that we put in each day in and out. You know, yeah, that's really it.
Marshawn, from the podium here, you've been in Louisville since 2017. You're the old man in the bunch. So what are you teaching the younger kids these days?
Take advantage of your opportunities. That's what I get. You know, as a tight end, you really don't see the ball that much, you know, unless you with Coach Satterfield's offense. But, you know, when you get a chance, make the play each day, every day, each day and out, make that play. You know, you might not know if you get the ball, you get the chance again. So take advantage of your opportunities.
Can you speak a little bit more to being a tight end? You've played that position since high school. What is it about it that you like? What fits your eye?
I like the contact. I like to hit people. You know, I like to do the dirty work. You know, the dirty work is always unseen. So that's just the type of guy I am.
You like hitting or catching better?
I like both, really.
Okay. Anything else for Marshawn before we start to wrap things up with Louisville here this afternoon? Hearing none, the Cardinals, good luck today, and we'll see you around the corner.
Appreciate you.
Thank you. Folks, Syracuse is due up next. We've got an arrival time of about 12:45.